You are getting very sleepy, very sleepy. You're going to learn how to use your voice. And you'll become so hypnotic, just the very sound of your voice, and people will fall down flat in hypnosis. Just enjoy this moment of deep and profound relaxation. Good. Hi, I'm Wendy Freistein. I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist. I'm going to teach you how to hypnotize anyone. One of the things that I noticed when I first started doing hypnosis was that it was actually much easier than I thought it would be. I would put someone in trance, I would say the right words and give them suggestions, and things would change. They'd feel different, their life changed, and I thought, wow, this is really easy. There certainly are techniques you have to learn, but the thing that's most important to know is that learning hypnosis isn't nearly as difficult or mysterious as you might think it is, so that's what I'm going to teach you. Now, another thing you might not know is that you are being hypnotized almost every day. And you probably say, hey, I've never been hypnotized. I don't think I could be hypnotized. But you are. If you've ever been watching a great movie and all of your senses are so alive while you're engrossed in the movie, or you're reading a really great book and you're in that trance while reading the book, imagining everything in detail, or driving down the highway and all of a sudden you go, whoa, how'd I get here? It's because you were hypnotized. When you're in a state of trance like that, things happen. Your perception is altered. Your subconscious mind is just full of ideas and new realities and perceptions and imagination. It's a really creative time, and I'm going to show you how to use that. Now, another time that you've been hypnotized that you may not know about is when you're watching TV. The marketing and what the media does in order to plant suggestions in your mind, it's phenomenal. If you were a hypnotist and you watch television and you see what's going on in order to create a trance state and then put suggestions in there, you'd be amazed. So you guys have been hypnotized over and over and over. Well, most people think that it is certainly a state where you're out of control, where you're in my power. Wouldn't that be nice? But actually, that's one of the myths of hypnosis. What I was surprised at, where people love to be in that hypnotic state. They love to feel that bliss and the total relaxation of their body and their mind. Afterwards, they always say, well, I could have opened my eyes any time. I could have got up and walked away. But then again, if I said, well, your arm is too heavy to lift, the more you try to lift it, the heavier it feels, and they can't lift it, well, why is that? It's a kind of a strange dilemma that you do feel like you could get up and walk away anytime, but then again, if I make a suggestion that your body's loose and limp and you're completely relaxed, you can't move. So it's kind of a fun state to play with, and I'm going to teach you how to do some of the fun things with hypnosis. Okay. Another time that you've been hypnotized that you may not be aware of is when you're watching politicians. There is a lot of hypnosis, kind of covert hypnosis that's done through language patterns and triggers and anchors in politics. Here's an interesting one from several years ago when Bill Clinton was president and his popularity was waning. He was having a few personal challenges. Well, one of the things that they did is they put a show on TV that was the premise was a Shirley Temple show. It was to to show our lovable, adorable movie star when she was a little girl, Shirley Temple. So they had this show, and they would show clips of her as a little girl, and just when you're thinking, oh, isn't she so cute? Didn't we just love her? Oh, those were the days. Then they would cut to a clip of Bill and Hillary sitting there holding hands, being all snuggly. And then they would show more of Shirley Temple, and every time there was a really good shot that they knew that everybody remembered and connected with, then they would cut to Bill and Hillary. Well, this was creating a hypnotic trigger. So when you would look at them later, you'd get this warm, fuzzy feeling. We were anchoring emotions of the security and the warmth, the good old days, and making you feel good whenever you saw him. And his popularity ratings did go up as a result of that. So you're being hypnotized all the time. Now what we want to do is hypnotize you for the right reasons. So you're going to learn to make suggestions to others to help them to be hypnotized for the right reasons. You're probably already a pretty good hypnotist, but you just didn't know it. If you go into work and you see one of your coworkers and they're having a tough day and you say, boy, you sure are stressed today. Wow. You're actually giving a hypnotic suggestion. You are telling them that they look stressed. Their brain goes to access all of the feelings and thoughts that support being stressed, and they actually get more stressed. Good job. But what if that's not what you want to do to people? Or you say to your kids, don't you ever shut up. All you ever do is yell and scream around the house. Every day you're yelling and screaming all the time. Well, you're hypnotizing them, and you're using repetition to reinforce it and to compound the suggestion that you're yelling and screaming all the time. You boys are always fighting. Well, now what do you expect? Your boys are always fighting. They're always yelling and screaming because you told them that's what they're doing. Hypnosis requires repetition, and most parents are excellent hypnotists, but I bet you didn't know that. So what you might want to say is, you guys are getting along better and better every day. You are really getting to be good friends. That suggestion goes in. Their mind checks all of the things that they've done to become better friends, to like each other more and get along better. And I bet that's a really handy one. Works with anyone. So what is hypnosis really? It is defined as a relaxed, focused state of concentration. So relaxed being that your entire body is so relaxed that there's no tension. There's nothing for your mind to think about in your body to think about, oh, how's my leg feel? How's my arm feel? Gosh, my neck's a little tired. None of that, because your body's so profoundly relaxed. And that's where the stress hormones change in your body, and you actually change the chemical makeup of your body. So it's a relaxed state, but it's a focused state. You're focusing on the sound of my voice, aren't you? Yes, right now you are. You're so focused on the sound of my voice with your eyes closed that your mind is using all of its resources to hear and assimilate the words I say. I bet you don't do that in every conversation, huh? And it's also a state of concentration. When you're concentrating on something, without all the distractions of everything I see in the room and all the things I'm feeling and thinking about what I'm going to do next, when I'm concentrating only on the thing that I want to create and change, my subconscious is so prepared and so able to find everything it needs to make those changes that poof, things happen, and it is a great state to be in. So with hypnosis, can I really make you do something you wouldn't ordinarily want to do? For instance, do I have the power to make you dance on the table naked? Well, as enticing as that sounds, well, for some of you, for others, no, that's okay. Do I have that power? If within your values you have always wanted to dance on the table naked and you just, you don't want anybody to know, but you've always had that desire, I could bring it out in you. Can I make you go rob a bank? Well, maybe you've always wanted to have the challenge of doing something sneaky and getting away with it. I could probably find a way to convince you to do that, but I can't make you do something against your values and against your morals. But if you do wake up in the bank naked later on the table, sorry, it's not my fault. You actually wanted to do it. So in reality, I can't make you do something against your will. If hypnotists had all this power to control people, don't you think that we'd have so much money, we'd be so rich, and we'd be controlling the world? Yeah, it'd be pretty cool, but it doesn't work. Otherwise, that's what we'd be doing. We use the term subconscious mind to simply describe the power you have to make changes on a deeper level and more profound way. So subconscious, yeah, we'll use that word, but it isn't something that really exists. Nothing more than how your entire mind exists, okay? Occasionally I hear people talking about hypnosis and religion, and there are some really old beliefs from long ago about hypnosis and religion and what it can do in altered states. But here's the real reality. Science now knows what hypnosis really is. We're actually able to measure it and look at the brainwave state that we call hypnosis. When you're awake, you're in a beta state, beta brainwave. Wow, I'm alert, I know what's going on. And then like you're kind of taking a nap on the couch and you're sort of in between falling asleep and being awake, and you're kind of seeing those really weird images. Well, that's an alpha state. And then after alpha, you fall asleep and you go into your delta and your theta states. Well, if you could stay in that alpha state, that's where you're suggestible. That's where your mind is really open and receptive to making changes. That's why it's probably not a good idea to fall asleep while you're listening to the 11 o'clock news at night, because all those horrible things are going into your mind, and those are the things your mind is going to dwell on as you sleep. So if you're hypnotizing someone, you want to get them into an alpha state, you can do it with just your conversation. You don't have to get them to close their eyes and go into a deep state of trance. And I'll teach you how to do that with just your conversation. Once they're in that state, things that you say will have an effect. You can create post-hypnotic suggestions, which means a person would do something after you're done with the trance, which means that every time you want a glass of water, you're going to think about me and how much you want to be with me, how much you want to kiss me. Or you could say every time you jingle your keys, you're going to realize how happy you feel, how calm you are while you're driving on the road. You can do all kinds of things like that. For instance, if you wanted to help someone to stop smoking, you could give them a suggestion that says, every time you take a deep breath, you feel that freedom of feeling completely full and satisfied. Any feelings you had about cigarettes are just gone. So I'm going to teach you how to form suggestions like that that are really going to work, and you're going to be amazed as well. As you learn hypnosis, you're going to be discovering so many things that you can do with it, so many really cool ways that you can either help others or help yourself. Now, there are some self-hypnosis techniques, and the things you're going to learn in this video about hypnotizing others, you can also use on yourself. So after you're done with this video, if you want to continue your training, you can get our self-hypnosis videos, which have a ton of techniques, things for having better sex, creating wealth, getting rid of road rage, becoming better at sports and golf. You can improve your sex life and your golf game all at the same time. There's so many great things you can do with it, and the self-hypnosis videos have all these techniques and specific ways to do that, which is really cool. There's also some advanced techniques if you're interested in being a hypnotherapist. You can learn how to do this really cool thing called timeline therapy, where it takes you into the past timeline of your life and the future timeline of your life, and you make these changes and life is different. It is so amazing and very cool. You can learn how to work with self-sabotage to find out why you have these really bad behaviors that you don't like, find out why you sabotage yourself. You can learn how to create anchors so that you can create an anchor that triggers a certain feeling or thought when you see or do a certain thing. And the anchors are really cool because then in your waking state, it's like I look at the cup of coffee and I think, today is a great day. Today I am very excited about getting things done. Stuff like that. So be sure to look at some of the other possibilities in the other videos, because once you start learning hypnosis, I think you're going to be as fascinated as I am. So here's what we're going to learn in this video. The first thing is the rules of the mind. There are specific ways that the mind works and the way that it reacts to suggestions and how you get it into hypnosis. So you're going to learn about that. Suggestibility tests. If someone thinks they can't be hypnotized, you can do specific things to make them feel they're more suggestible and receptive to hypnosis. You're going to learn inductions. This is great. There's a quick induction called the Dave Elman induction. I'm going to demonstrate that. You will experience for yourself progressive relaxation, and we're going to do some rapid inductions so you can just put someone in hypnosis just like that. Okay, now suggestions. You can't just make any suggestions and expect them to work. You have to actually have specific wording for suggestions. You're going to learn how to use your voice. And you'll become so hypnotic, just the very sound of your voice, and people will fall down flat in hypnosis. Oh, you're going to learn sleep hypnosis. This is one of my favorites. If someone is receptive to it while they're sleeping, you can give them suggestions. It's really cool. Post-hypnotic suggestions are when you tell someone that they are going to react a certain way, after they come out of the trance. Also very useful. Dream programming, and this is something you're going to use for yourself. You're going to tell yourself to have certain dreams to accomplish something, come up with an idea, solve a problem, be wildly creative. There are many uses of hypnosis, as I'm sure you figured out because you bought this video. You can use this for sports performance. You can run faster, jump higher, be stronger. You can take a few strokes off your golf game. And you can also improve your sex life, which means those strokes you took off your golf game, you can add those in bed. You can relieve pain. You can find any chronic pain problems, help yourself, help someone else get rid of pain. And this is probably one of the most important uses of hypnosis. You can lose weight. You will make yourself love to eat nutritious, healthy foods, love to exercise, get so excited about going to the gym. Stop smoking. You can help your kids with test anxiety and fears they have, with problems they have as simple as biting their nails, or maybe they have constant headaches. So you're going to get very good at these techniques. You're going to find a lot of creative uses for hypnosis, aren't you? Yes, you are. And you will learn how to hypnotize anyone.
Yeah, check. We're all ready. Yes, you bet. We're all ready.
Suggestibility tests. One of the things that is a classic suggestibility test, and personally I don't know if it's actually true, a lot of people dispute it, but this is kind of from the founders of the hypnosis beliefs, is that there's an eye roll test that you can do to find out how hypnotizable someone is. So what I want you to do, Janelle, is just to close your eyes very gently, and I want you to let your eyeballs roll up inside of your forehead as if you're kind of looking right up here at the top of your forehead. Okay? Now what I want you to do is try to open your eyelids just as much as you can so that I can see how much your eyes roll up inside of your forehead. And right now she's having a little trouble opening her eyelids. Okay? So now I want you to relax your eyes and bring them right down to the front. And now I want you to open your eyes. Okay? And just look straight at me. And now I want you to look up with your eyelids open this time. Just look up. Look up as high as you can. Now, the belief is that the more whites of their eyes that are at the bottom showing means they're more hypnotizable. So, okay, very good. You did excellent. So that's one of the suggestibility tests to decide if someone is hypnotizable, and there is a lot of dispute as to whether it's accurate or not. There's a lot of people who think it's just hooey. Another suggestibility test to find out if someone is resistant or if they're going to cooperate with your suggestions is to do a finger sticking together test, and that's what we're going to do with you. Hold your hands out, and I want you to put your fingers apart. You're going to look at the space right between your fingers. You're going to just kind of stare at that space right there. So you might need to tilt your hands up. Maybe you can see it just like it is. Now, the wording is very important in this test. So as you hear my words, just notice the way that I use them in order to get her mind to kind of respond and cooperate. Hopefully her mind will respond and cooperate. As you look at that space between your fingers, just notice that your entire body is relaxing and all of your concentration is right there on that space right between your fingers. And what I want you to notice is that in a moment, your fingers are going to seem to have a mind of their own, almost like they're two magnets wanting to pull together. And it will seem like the harder you try to keep them apart, the more they will begin pulling together. When I count from 10 down to 1, that force will increase and get stronger and stronger and stronger. So right now, just keep staring at that space and notice the way your fingers feel. They may have already started to pull together. 10, with each number they're getting tighter. 9, those magnets pulling tighter and tighter together. 8, 7, pulling even tighter together. 6, pulling tighter together. 5, and in a moment when they come together and touch, you'll notice that they are almost like they're welded tight together. 6, 5, pulling together even more. The more you try to resist, the more they pull together. 4, closer and closer now, so close. 3, coming together even closer. 2, even more, pulling and pulling, that magnet pulling them together. 2, and in a moment they'll touch. The moment they touch, they will be stuck tight together. And 1, closer, closer still. Now, stuck tight together, and it doesn't matter what you do, it'll just seem that they're stuck together. The more that you try to pull them apart, the more they're stuck. But the magic is that you can release them so easily. All you have to do is blow on them, and they'll release. And they come apart easily. And our fingers come apart. Good. Relax your hands. So that's another suggestibility test that you can do to see if someone's mind is going to respond. And sometimes there are people whose fingers will just come apart really easily, and some of them you can obviously see that they start coming together before you even start counting from 10 down to 1. The purpose of counting from 10 down to 1 is to give their mind a goal, that they know that on the number 1, as I kept saying, when your fingers stick together, that on the number 1 something is going to happen and their mind is anticipating it. So, very good. A variation on the fingers sticking together suggestibility test is this. Janelle, I want you to put your fingers interlaced like this, and then put them out and put the 2 fingers out in front of you. Now what you're going to feel right now, and this is kind of a little tricky little hypnosis finger stick together thing, is that it's hard to keep them apart, huh? When your fingers are inside of each other like that, it's really hard to keep them apart. And so when you start suggesting that they're going to go together, it will make them go together. The reason you'd want to do that is if you have a real resistant client and you want them to get convinced that they're open to suggestion. Okay, another suggestibility test. This one's really fun. You ready? Close your eyes. Put both of your arms out in front of you. Okay, and I want you to take, let's see, the left arm and turn it up. There's a reason I use the left arm to turn it up, because it is a weaker arm and it makes the effect even better. In your left arm, I want you to imagine that I'm putting a big, heavy book, a dictionary. It's really, really thick. It's one of those new ones that has like all the words. It's so heavy. In your left arm, you can feel the weight of it. It's so, so heavy. And it's hard to hold up that heavy dictionary. Now, just hold on to it though. Right in your right arm here, I want you to feel the balloons that are being tied to your right arm. And those balloons that make your right arm feel so nice and light. So light. In fact, we're going to put another bunch of big, beautiful helium balloons, and you can feel how light it is. It just makes your arm feel so good and light. And I'm going to put another book on your other arm. There's another book on that arm. Another one. This one's really heavy. This one's bigger than the dictionary. This one is like the mega huge dictionary. It's gigantic. And one more book. This is your history book from high school. There you go, right on that arm. Heavy.